Yo, what's going on, people, and welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. Genuinely, really do hope that. Lots to get into today. Lots of stuff being spoken about in the world of Chelsea Football Club. We are citing stuff from Romano, what he said in his YouTube channel. We are going to talk about some stuff from The Athletic there, in terms of transfer plans. Of course, the return fee for Jadon Sancho to Manchester United. Also, Romano speaking about how Dean Howson, of course, very, very highly rated centre-back, being linked with Real Madrid. Chelsea put in a lot of legwork for him. We'll look at his stats on X value. It's going to be a wonderful video, so strap yourselves in, pour yourselves a drink. I myself have a coffee here, good to go. Should I need to drink it, I'll pause the recording so there's no dead air time, because boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, I say girls and ladies, but it's... 99.5% men? Bit of a boys club here, but that's alright. I'm used to not getting girls. It's fine. It's fine. By the way, little reminder, like and subscribe. Why not support the content while you're here? And if you are thinking, hey, this guy, I enjoy his content, Jan's a good dude. I mean, why wouldn't you be thinking that? And a reminder that second channel, Football Yannick, is up and running with daily content. And that is just everything non-Chelsea. So if you're like me and you're just a football fan as well as a Chelsea fan, and you want to hear my thoughts on other stories, do consider just searching Football Yannick on YouTube. Right, let's get right into it then, because there's so much to speak about. First of all, let's speak about some stuff Romano said on his YouTube channel. Because, of course, really, really big story at the moment is Joao Felix. I've been pretty transparent how I like Joao Felix as a player. I won't necessarily cry for him if he doesn't make it at Chelsea or in leaves, but I will cry for a poor decision from my club. I'm not going to cry. I'll be frustrated and disappointed for that. But he says this: in case Chelsea do not get a good proposal for Joao Felix, of course, if we do get a good proposal, he could leave. We will sell him. But Chelsea are not closing the doors on him continuing at Chelsea next season, which is good. And me personally, I don't have a big problem with Joao being a Chelsea player. I actually quite like. I mean, look, I know he's a bit of a hipster player still, but I look at him in a Chelsea shirt and I go, yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. Like, I'm one of these people that do get excited about Joao Felix being a Chelsea player. He's 25 years old. He's not some washed 30-year-old that got pushed around for... He's not... again, no disrespect, but here comes some disrespect. He's not in a Raheem Sterling phase, this like high-profile player who's not done well for the last year of his 20s and now is 30 and doesn't know what to do. He's 25. There's still time. It's not going well at Milan. Fine, but this guy is a baller. It might work at Chelsea. Again, if it doesn't, if someone says, "Oh, we could do with that star value," and again, I do think he could play at a Champions League club. And again, it sounds like shade, but it's not. I do think like a Galatasaray would be an awesome move for sort of him and Sterling, but he could be like the young star playing in the Champions League to amazing fans. He could also play in a Champions League club in a top 5 league. I like Joao Felix, and I like him. If he makes it at Chelsea, great. It's going to be tough, yeah, purely because, Cole Palmer's still the guy. He's running cold at the moment. Not in the good way. He's not running hot at the moment. Or maybe it's backwards for him. But of course, Pai is coming in. Esteval. I know Quender's a winger, but lots of creativity. He's going to find it tough. I think just because of profile alone and blockbuster following and marketability, there will be clubs for Joao, but Chelsea aren't going to make a big loss on him. Let's move on. Okay, so players that are definitely going confirmed by Fabrizio Romano are these. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Unsurprisingly, there have been recent reports that actually Bournemouth are going to follow up with interest and make the Spanish goalkeeper permanent, which I think will be a good move. They should qualify for Europe. He's going to be like, he is 30 or something. I know it's young for a keeper still, but it seems like he's settled there and it's a high enough level for him, maybe. Chilwell, sad, but yep. I do think Chilwell might be one of the rare cases where we give him a loan despite his older age, just sort of out of respect to just find him a landing spot and not, and more options for him so he can go to a club that suits him a little bit better. Speculating there, but still. Disassi, yeah, fine, and we'll find a probably suitor for him. Now, Breuer is interesting, and Raheem Sterling. He says Raheem Sterling is over. Absolutely. But who the ruddy heck is going to sign Raheem Sterling? That's the problem. Not that, the decision that it's not going to work at Chelsea is an easy one. He's not as good as he used to be. He's on insane wages, and it's just not going to work. So there's that. Bruyne is an interesting one. He came on against England and Albania and looked like flashes of Armando Bruyne as we know him. I mean, I think it would be a mental time to sell Armando Bruyne. I think he and Carney Chukwuemeka, like I've said recently, should be loaned. Yeah, I think they should be loaned even if they are going to be sold, because their values, they're such distressed assets as young players with massively high ceilings. Why would you sell them now when their values dipped? Gonna sip my coffee, pause the video. Delicious. So there's some outs for you. We'll learn a little bit more on the bigger long read from Cy Johnson on The Athletic. And like I said, we can end on Dean Howson. Yeah, we'll end because it's kind of like a scouting report. So we'll do that. We're going to read this now. Jadon Sancho, Chelsea will have to pay Man United 5 million quids. 5 million boys if we do not sign the winger permanently. We speculated 10 million. And then, or would it be 20 million? Insane. 5 million? Because, crazy, really. Chelsea will have to pay Man United 5 million quid if they want to not complete the signing of Jadon Sancho permanently. Sancho moved to Stamford Bridge last summer on a season-long loan deal, which included the obligation to buy him for 25 million. Of course, it was 20 million if we finished 14th or below, 25 if we finished above 14th. 25 million. Still, a quick, sobering reality reminder. 25-year-old, certainly 24 when we signed him. Played in the Champions League final, played in the Champions League, won a domestic trophy with Dortmund, England caps, cost Man United 75 million quid, so 3 times as much. A bargain deal, a Chelsea fan, for whatever that's worth, not much these days. Declan Rice is a Chelsea fan, Luke Shaw, but they very much play for different clubs. As part of the agreement, it was decided Chelsea could opt against the proceeding with a full transfer fee. With the full transfer fee by giving United a set fee. Relations between Chelsea and Sancho are strong. The club's intention is to sign a new winger in the upcoming market. Of course, this is regarding uncertainty to Mykhailo Mudryk's availability. We're not going to talk about it today because there's just simply not time. There's so much stuff I want to talk about. But Mudryk is being linked with Sevilla and loosely Manchester United. Yeah. The 24-year-old had a positive start to life at Chelsea, assisting in his first 3 Premier League games for the club. This is Jadon Sancho. Also winning a couple of penalties, if memory serves, which is very important. An FPL assist, if you will. However, the wingers struggled to maintain that form, scoring just 2 goals and providing 1 assist in the last 20 Premier League games. I mean, incidentally, that is Manchester United's current winger form. In January, Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca, who worked with Sancho when they were both at Man City. Oh, okay. Praised Sancho's debut season at Stamford Bridge. He says this: "For me, he's doing very well. I'm quite surprised with Jadon because I knew Jadon already and I know what I expected from him. But in terms of consistent, he's doing very well." Maybe he means training. I expected him to do well, but for all players doing well for a long period, it's not easy. Yada. Of course, we return to football at playing Tottenham Hotspur at Stamford Bridge after the international break. Yeah, same situation. We've spoken about Sancho recently. I think he's a very good player. I think he's got a high ceiling. I also think it's not unreasonable to assume he will be a second choice winger at Chelsea, and that Chelsea at 25 million quid can be like, fine price for a second choice winger. I've got nothing against him becoming first choice. In flashes, he's shown he's an absolute baller. Certainly a very high ceiling, good talent, and by all accounts, his attitude's been really good, which, was thrown at him that perhaps his attitude wasn't great at Man United, but I do have some sympathy for players that struggle at Man United, including the likes of Rashford and stuff. It does look very difficult over there at the best of times. So, Yeah, I'd love for it to work. I've got nothing against it not working. Many Chelsea fans who have been frustrated with his recent poor negative form will be saying, "Oh wow, £5 million to send him back. Just pay it and let's move on." Let me know your thoughts down below. All right, so we're going to read, fly through, before we do the Dean Howson scouting report X value ting, we're going to look at this article by Simon Johnson here. Because Chelsea have done lots of business already, well, 2 signings already, and apparently we're moving super fast already. So Chelsea do not intend to wait around, says Simon. Chelsea have already agreed deal, of course, with Sporting's Dario Sugo and Giovanni Quenda, who arrives the following season. But this is just the start, apparently, of getting the deals done early. Agreeing to sign a player outside the transfer window when it's not a Bosman, a free transfer, essentially, does not happen in sport that often. It does happen in sport, excuse me, but it is unusual. So, doing deals and agreements before a window opens. We've done this quite a lot though, Chelsea. Inevitably, it provokes the question, why are Chelsea doing this and what are our intentions? In terms of this duo specifically from from Sporting, my brain is all messed up. One of the reasons is fairly obvious. They wanted to beat off other people or other clubs, of course. Quenda is a really obvious one, and Manchester United were very, very interested, and by loaning him back to Sporting and moving quickly, we beat Manchester United, and apparently he's a massive talent, and it's just, an opportunism from Chelsea. As for Asugo, of course, the defensive central midfielder, Chelsea became aware of 5 to 6 other teams that were already pursuing the 20-year-old, and they were like, okay, well, we want him. 6 other teams already pursuing him like us. We don't want to miss losing out. It was an opportunity, I guess, to negotiate for him when they were signing Quenda. Also, worth mentioning, it wasn't just Man United that was in for Quenda. Loads of other clubs, but indeed as well a top 3 Premier League team. Now, top 3 Premier League team could involve Nottingham Forest, but they've got Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, but it also could involve, most notably, Liverpool and Arsenal. Chelsea sources who spoke to The Athletic, I'm not saying their names to protect their relationships, yada yada yada, say there is just one factor behind it. The club are beginning to get their majority of their business done, ins and outs, by the end of June. That includes the most high-profile acquisitions, which of course is a winger and centre forward. Galacticos, leave them to that. Important signings regardless, yeah. Chelsea feel they're in a good position to do this because they've been working on the deals early, like Quenda and Asugo. In advance means a lot. They use an example here about the signing of Moises Caicedo. Remember the saga with Moises Caicedo, and of course Liverpool agreed a 111 million record-breaking fee for Caicedo with Brighton very late, and then Chelsea had to come back and pay a bit more. And he only wanted Chelsea like Lavia, yada yada yada. Great fun, lol. But it screwed up his pre-season massively, and actually his first season, he was amazing by the end of it, but it took him a long time to get going, and Chelsea realised largely or predominantly or certainly a contributing factor at the very least was they've completely screwed up his pre-season, which anyone in football will tell you is a very important part of a new signing. Acclimatisation, conditioning, tactical instruction, retention, all that stuff, right? And they're like, right, don't want to do that again, so we're not going to wait until... maybe they do make deadline day signings, but it won't be integral, important parts of the team. That's what we're getting here. And of course, there's, stuff with bomb squads and stuff. You want all this kind of noise sorted out ASAP. Players we loaned out to, of course, Matisse Mugu is already being lined up to go to Strasbourg. Apart from Andre Santos, who will be part of the first team, is confirmed. I spoke about his comments recently in yesterday's video. Chelsea fans were scared he's not going to return. Simon Johnson, reiterates the briefing from Chelsea. He will be in the first team, Andre Santos, and of course, I guess Matisse Mugu goes to Strasbourg. I don't know if he's a direct replacement because he's certainly not going to score the goals Santos does. Events of last summer leave a bit of a question mark over that when you consider unwanted trio. Of course, the likes of Sterling, Bria and Chalobah agreed loan deals only at the end of August. Chilwell ended up staying, and of course we loaned him to Crystal Palace. But Chelsea believe they're in a better position than previous years and have done a lot of groundwork on exits in advance. So they believe, essentially, they've done all this work now. So when the transfer window comes, they'll be in a position to move quickly. Sounds sensible? We'll see. You don't really know with this lot until it happens. Coffee break. Right. Centre back. So that we know the striker, we know the winger, possibly left back cover. We'll see what happens there. But it has been reiterated over and over, Chelsea looking at a centre-back. Fabrizio Romano says, Chelsea are there for Dean Howson. Even though it's spelled Huijsen. It's a Dutch. He's of Dutch descent. Plays for Spain, which was peculiar when Spain played Netherlands yesterday. Very, very young. I believe he's 19 and playing in competitive games for Spain already, which is very impressive, of course. Chelsea are there for Dean Howson. They've got an excellent relationship with the people close to Howson. What does that even mean? Is it like the agents, his family, Bournemouth, or just like people, his mates, people close to him? Liverpool have made some contact. Bayern appreciate him, and also Real Madrid. Of course, he's commented on Real Madrid, the links, and says, Sergio Ramos is his favourite defender of all time. Who's of course an amazing defender, but a notorious penis, excuse me, but they are yet to decide if they want a centre-back, which goes against transition, why not, which goes against all of the previous briefs. Chelsea want a centre-back, they're looking at Mark Guehi, they're looking at this guy, they're looking at that guy. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the story's changed with Chalobah, which I seriously doubt. I think he will still go for pure profit. Maybe they're thinking Josh Champong. They're going to wait to the end of the season, see what Josh does. Maybe they're going to see if they believe Benoit Badiashile is that rotational option on the left with Colwill, and then you got Fofana, Tosin on the right, and then you still got, your Champong. I think a Champong should get loaned. I think he's great, but I think he deserves to start all the time. I'm glad he's penned a long-term deal. He could definitely have a future at Chelsea. But I'd be interested in him getting a Premier League loan. I think he's good enough. I think Tyreek George stays with Chelsea because he's shown that he can be a very useful asset on both sides, and indeed false nine. So he's just too useful to not have around. But centre-back, Dean Howson, Chelsea are there, Romano says. So let's go there ourselves and have a look at the young Spanish/Dutch centre-back here on his X-Value page. Let's look at his performance spider chart here in the middle of the screen. Very, very strong with aerials and very good at passing, which is important. Interestingly, not so much recoveries, but remember that could be a playstyle thing with Bournemouth. As you can see here, playing on the left side in the Premier League, not on the right side. So this is maybe, I suppose, if Badiashile goes, possibly. But I wonder if he can play on the right-hand side as well. Wow, this is a rarity on X-Value. It says he's two-footed. Preferred foot, both. That's really, really rare to see that, because you get some websites that say they're two-footed, but generally this stats website says what the right foot or left foot, but it's saying two-footed here, which is obviously very, very good. Very impressive key metrics by player cluster here: tackles, blocks, clearances, defensive, aerials. Very, very good in the air. Very aggressive defender, combative. Let's look at some of his advanced stats here. Okay, all right, pretty interesting. So interceptions is very, very strong. So the recoveries being low before is probably a playstyle thing, because his tackle win percentage is very high, his interception is really high, his expected goals blocked is incredibly high, and he's very good at long passing. Obviously, if he plays for Chelsea, again, this is probably an Iraola thing, do long passing transition. If he plays for Chelsea, he'll have to do more short passes. But very, very interesting polar chart there. Expected threat progression is very strong. From passes, very, very strong. So basically, he makes really dangerous passes up the pitch. 95th percentile. That's real good gear there, you must say. And yeah, pretty strong offensive and defensive duels there as well. Like I said, a very aggressive player. He does look very good, Dean Howson. Of course, he's only 19. He's playing for Spain already. He's playing a really high level in the Premier League in terms of how he's been performing and could qualify for Europe. I do think. I looked yesterday. I think Bournemouth spent £12 million on him. They'll quadruple their money. Selling him in the summer, 40, or they'll sell him for like 40, 45. Best part of quadruple their money. I think personally, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think. Would you want Dean Howson at Chelsea? Should we get a centre-back? In fact, let me know what you think in everything I've spoken about in this video. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Keep it locked. If you want more content from me, check out Football Yannick. Lots for you to check out there as well. And I'll hopefully see you back here soon. Peace.